Hello, I'm Mike and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
We're bringing you issue 45 of Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine today. This issue came with a set of 5 fanatics, plus another one of their friends who's having a bad day. And you'll be able to see them in today's game, where the forces of order are trying to destroy one of the Gloomspite Gitz mushroom grottos. We're looking through the issue first. First up we have some backstory on the Ether War. This is another one of the faction battle boxes that was released. This time it's going over a war between the Caradron overlords of Barak-Nar and a Tzeentchian cult led by Magister Abhet, whose dastardly plan was to intensify the magical storms of the area to threaten the skyport of Barak-Nar. So you've got Magister Abhet there leading the forces of Tzeentch and Endrin Master Grolson leading the Caradrons. And again, going over some of the major conflicts and probably showing off the morals that came with the box. And then we have a new short story starting. This is about a loon boss called Claggit Blacktongue, as he attempts to persuade a group of grots to join him in his war. In this case, he's leading a small group of grots against the Sylvaneth, but also has a exciting duel with a Fire Slayer, so you can always pause and read it along if you want to. Then a battle record for our Loonsmasha Fanatics. So we've seen a Fanatic before with the one in Zarbag's Gitz, Snurk Sourtongue. These are grots who have basically taken a few too many mushrooms and are going to go and smash things with a big ball and chain. And you can actually roll on this table here to see why the sick grot, because you do get 6 models technically with this magazine, so you can roll to see why the sick grot is not taking part in your battles. And then you can go over, give them a name and unit traits and so forth. And then the build guide. So there's a fair amount of interchangeable parts. So you've got various different balls to go on the end of the chains, different heads, different base details, and so on. Although I believe there's 2 choices of head for each body, so you need to be a little bit careful. But you can kind of go however you want with these, and there's no unit leader, so you don't need to worry about one looking different. And then the painting guide, well, they're very similar to all the other grots you've had so far. So Abaddon black robes, Auric green, Auric flesh, lead belcher for the metal, wraith bone for any ropes and so forth, and red mushrooms. And adding shades as well eventually, but also add a nice little bit on how to paint the vomit of that one that's being sick. Going over it with Griffhound Orange. And there you can see them completed to this point. And now we have a fold out going over the Realm of Death. So this is obviously the home realm of Nagash, the Lord of the Undead. Although there are still some mortals who are clinging to territory on the Realm of Death. It goes over some of the major locations as well, like Shadespire, setting on one of the Warhammer Underworld settings, I believe. And Gothizar, the capital of the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. And then on the other side it goes over some of the forces that occupy the realm. So as you might expect, there's a lot of undead. So we have the ghoulish nobles of the Flesh Eater courts, the Ossiarch Bone Reapers in the middle there, the skeletal constructs, and the Night Haunt, which are the various spirits of various criminals which are doomed to serve Nagash in undeath. But also some mortals like the Anvils of Heldenhammer, a Stormcast Stormhost that try to defend any members of the cities of Sigmar on the realm. And also the Unmade, a chaos cult who maimed themselves in service to the Dark Gods, who just decided they were clearly mad enough to try and live on this realm. But now I'll hand you over to Will, where he'll take us into today's game.
So no war score for the Fanatics in this issue, because we actually got it a few issues ago when we had the rules for Zarbag's Gitz, because Snurk Sourtongue from the Gitz is just a Loonsmasha Fanatic in a unit of 1. So instead we have some more tactics articles. This one is for the Lord Aquilor. So his advantages is very manoeuvrable, being fast and having the Ride the Winds Etheric, and is also a capable fighter in both melee and ranged combat, but may be a priority target for your opponent. Suggest here can be used as the vanguard of your force, using manoeuvrability and combat ability to accomplish a multitude of things. And then the Knight Judicator, who obviously has a very powerful ranged attack and comes with a unit of 3 Griffhounds, who can either defend him or go away and do something else. But he's quite fragile, having only a few wounds and not being very good in melee combat, so you do have to be careful. And then we have the backstory for today's game. So the forces of order have been following the Gloomspite Gitz following the previous engagement and have tracked them to a grotto where they've been growing their special fungus. And the Sylvaneth and Stormcast Eternals are launching a joint attack. So for the forces of order, the mandatory units are the Arch Revenant, the 5 Tree Revenants, and the Spirit of Durthu. And then option 1 is either 4 Praetors or 5 Vigilors, and option 2 is 6 Griffhounds and 5 Vindictors. And for the Alliance of Destruction, they have to have the Loon Boss, Zarbag and Zarbag's Gitz, 20 Moon Clan shooters, and the 5 new Loonsmasha Fanatics. And then option 1 is the Martial Crawler Slogoth or the Beast Skewer Killbow, whereas option 2 is 3 Man Skewer Bort Boys or 10 Hobgrots. And here's the Battleplan Fungal Grotto. So as you can see on the map, the Destruction Forces deploy in the centre of the central of our 3 battle mats with an objective on either corner, the top left and bottom right of their territory. The Order territory is the short edges on both ends. The Destruction player sets up the whole of their army first, then the Order player sets up their army. It lasts for 5 battle rounds, and victory points are scored 1 point for controlling at least 1 objective, 1 for 2 objectives, and 1 for more than the opponent. And the special rule is Fortifying Fungus, meaning that while contesting an objective, Sylvaneth and Gloomspite Gitz units have a 6+ ward. And as usual, we have some playthrough highlights from when Ian and Eve played this game. You can see the units they've picked and read about their choices here if you want to. But we shall get the board set up and get straight into our game. So here we are once again on our very large battlefield that I can't all get in one shot, but you can see most of what's going on here. Have a look in the middle first at the Destruction territory. You can see 5 of our 6 pieces of terrain. We've got a mystical big skull on the left, an inspiring crystal towards the bottom, an arcane vent in the middle, possibly it's a big mushroom, pool on the right near Objective 2, which is also mystical, and a damned fountain up in the top right. Objective 1 is near the top of your screen, Objective 2 towards the bottom, and you can see the entire Destruction deployment here.
At the top left, near Objective 1, I've got Zarbag's Gitz with Snoke Sauertongue hidden inside. He actually has to be hidden in them. Then the Martial Crawler Slogoth. In the middle we've got Zarbag, the Bolt Boys, and the Loon Boss. Loon Boss will be my general. He'll have Heroic Stature for an extra wound, Vial of Manticore Venom for +1 to wound on his melee weapon, and my Triumph is going to be the one that lets you auto-pass a morale test. And Zarbag obviously is a unique character, so he can't have a spell. And then finally I've got the shooters near Objective 2 with the Unit of 5 Fanatics hidden in them. Technically I secretly decide which one they're in, but they're the only option, and I could have deployed the Fanatics out in the open, but they just get shot immediately if I did that.
And then for the Order deployment, this is over in the top left area of the battlefield near Objective 1. We've got the final piece of terrain, which is an inspiring treasure chest behind the Spirit of Durthu, who will be the general with the Battle Lust command trait, so re-rolling run and charge rolls, and the 5 Vindictors over here, which I picked as one of my options. And on the other side, not far from Objective 2, we have the Vigilors, which was my other pick, the Arch Revenant and the Tree Revenants. The Arch Revenant will have the Arcane Tome artifact, making her a wizard, so I have a wizard of my own to counter Zarbag. And she'll also have the Flaming Weapon spell, and my Triumph will be Bloodthirsty for this game, which is reroll a charge roll once per game. So then we're just rolling off full priority in Battle Round 1. I've rolled a 1.
I rolled a 2. I think I'll go first.
So we'll be into Alliance of Destruction, turn 1.
So we didn't show it. Heroic actions, I failed Heroic Leadership. Order went with Heroic Willpower on the Spirit of Durthu, and then Zarbag did get an extra spell, but the only one that's going to be arranged is Mystic Shield, which he successfully cast. I'm going to put it on the shooters. And in my movement, the only movement has been the Loon Boss and the Slogoth, who have just moved to reinforce the objectives they're nearest to. So Loon Boss towards 2, Slogoth towards 1. And then we'll be on to the shooting phase, and I'll start with the Bolt Boys, who are all just about in range of the the Vigilors.
And I will spend a CP for all-out defense on them.
So 4 shots from the Bolt Boys on 2s. 6s will do mortals, so actually that's going to be 4 mortal wounds and 2 hits. These wound on 3s, that is 2 wounds at -1.
So that's cancelled out by all-out defense, so 4s to save. Well, I made both of those, but it's still going to be 4 mortal wounds for killing 2 Vindictors. 2 Vigilors.
Our next shooting is going to be the shooters, and they're going to shoot at the Tree Revenants.
Who will also have all-out defense because they get the free one every turn. It doesn't matter if I already used it.
And I'll spend a command point for all-out attack on the shooters.
So that resulted in 7 wounds, so I have 7 4+ saves. Only failed 2, so we only lose 1 Tree Revenant. And then the 3 bowmen in Zarbag's Gitz fired to no effect, so that's actually the end of the... and then there'll be no charges or anything, so we to the Battleshock phase, where both the Tree Revenants and the Vigilors have to take Battleshock tests, failing on a 6. So we'll do the Tree Revenants first, they're fine, and the Vigilors, they're fine as well. And that brings us to the end of the turn, where Destruction hold both objectives, which is more than the Order forces do, gaining 3 victory points, and we'll be on to Order turn 1. Hero phase, both the Spirit of Durthu and Zarbag succeeded with Heroic Leadership, and then I spend a command point to try and rally the Vigilors, see if we can get 1 back. We do. And the Arch Revenant is a wizard thanks to the Arcane Tome, so she'll try and cast Mystic Shield as well. We succeed with an 8.
Zarbag might as well try and unbind. He fails with a 7.
So Mystic Shield went on the Tree Revenants, and then they have used their waypipes to move a little bit further than they would have been able to normally without running to gain ground on Objective 2. The Vigilors and the Arch Revenant following them. And on the other side, the Spirited Dirthu moved normally. I could have run to get onto the objective, but wouldn't be able to take it regardless. So didn't bother, thought better shoot. That caused the Zarbag's Gitz to redeploy using Zarbag's free command point, so making a long charge. The Vindictors ran 3 inches forward, again not enough to get on the objective. On to the shooting phase, we'll shoot with the Vigilors first at the Bolt Boys, and we will spend a command point for +1 to hit with all-out attack.
Yeah, and I'm using a command point to give the Bolt Boys all-out defense, so they have at least a save.
Then we have 9 shots, which will be hitting on 2s. Well, that was a good use of command point, because it may not get 3 more hits. But then we'll be winning on 4s, because we didn't say it earlier, but the Destruction Forces are using Noisy Racket. It didn't make any difference, we've got 6 wounds.
Well, 6 plus saves. Well, we made one. Boss lives.
And then the Spirit of Dirthu will shoot at Zarbag's Gitz, and we have 6 shots, which will be hitting on 4s. 5 hits.
Cool.
But also winning on 4s because of Noisy Racket. 4. Oh, -1.
So there's no save, so that's going to kill all the bowmen. So we actually end up losing 2 bowmen and both the squigs, so that they maintain coherency. At the start of the charge phase, I'm going to deploy Snurk Sourtongue right up against the other remaining Zarbag's Gitz, so if the Spirit Dirthu does want to charge, he'll probably have to fight Snurk as well. Not going to deploy the other Fanatics yet.
So then on to charges, where the Spirit of Dirthu is indeed going to declare a charge. Looking for a high roll, but can re-roll because of his command trait. 5 is definitely not enough, so we will roll into a 2. So no, Spirit of Dirthu is not going anywhere.
Just remember that those members of Zarbag's Gitz that took damage should have had ward saves, so it's only a 6+, but you never know. We made 1, so I guess one of the squigs is still alive as well.
But over here I will declare a charge roll with the Tree Revenants. So their charge roll is a 3. But I have a command point, so I might as well re-roll that because I don't have any other use for them. Into a 6, which is still a failure. So that's it. No more charges to declare, so to the Battle Shock phase.
Yeah, well, I'll spend my command point to autopass Zarbag's Gitz and then also use my Triumph for the Bolt Boy boss.
But that will be the end of the turn and the battle round, and I hold no objectives at the end of my turn, so no victory points. So rolling off of battle round 2. I rolled a 2.
I rolled a 6, I think I'll go first.
So destruction turn 2.
So heroic actions, Loonboss caught heroic leadership, Spirit of Dirthu did heroic willpower, Zarbag gets an extra spell, so first one's going to be Mystic Shield. He gets it with a 9, he's next to an arcane vent.
Try and unbind that, doesn't matter who with. Nope.
So I think I'll put that on those shooters. And then he'll try and cast Jealous Hex. And he rolls a 4, so it's 5, that's not going to be enough. Actually, I'm also going to use a command point to try and rally the Bolt Boys. We get one back. The only noteworthy movement is going to be near Objective 2, where the Loonboss is going around the mystical pond, and then the shooters are just going to scooch forward a little bit so they can deploy the Fanatics a bit closer. Now, the 2 Bolt Boys will put some more shots into the Vigilors.
I will all out defense again.
So 3 shots on 2s, they miss, and no mortals, and 1 wound at Martel.
4, nope, does do 2 damage, kills 1.
The lone bowman in Zarbag's Gitz shot a Vindictor and didn't do anything, so the shooter's going to shoot at the Tree Revenants.
That was 4 wounds. I didn't use all out defense for free this time because they've got Mystic Shield on them, so these will be 4+ saves either way. We fail 2 and lose another Tree Revenant.
At the start of the charge phase, I'm going to deploy the full unit of Fanatics, but the Loon Boss is going to charge first. He gets... re-roll that.
You got his own command point over there if you want.
Yeah, I know. He's in. Phew. So the Loon Boss goes into the Vigilors, so they won't be able to unleash hell on the Fanatics. On the Fanatics, 5 is enough to get them in. So the Fanatics are going to go in like that to engage the Arch Revenant as well.
At the start of the fight phase, the Arch Revenant will give herself a 4+ ward because I think she's going to be hit by some very large spiky balls.
Yeah, and the Fanatics go first because they have strike first. I'm going to use the free command point from the Loon Boss to give them all-out attack, so that makes it so that their wounds do mortal wound on a 6. And we'll put 2 into the Arch Revenant and 3 into the Tree Revenants.
Who will use their free all-out defense for this turn.
Yeah.
Now.
3d6 attacks on the Tree Revenants. It's only 7. On 3s. Oh, only 4. And 3s. That's 2 wounds at -2.
But with all-out defense and Mystic Shield, they're back to their base 5+ save, which we make 1 of, so anyone goes through.
D3 damage. 1.
One wounded.
And on the Arch Revenant, 6 attacks. On 3s, getting 4. And 3s, getting 2 as well.
Arch Revenant has a 6+ save with modifiers. Oh, we do make one, that's going to be important.
So only D3 damage, 2.
And she has 4+ ward, which she makes both of, so no damage.
Then it's my pick, so I'll pick the Loon Boss. He'll attack the Vigilors, 5 attacks on 3s.
And using all out defense on them.
Yep, alright, he got 5 hits. Wounding on 2s, because Manticore Venom. That is 4 wounds at -1.
So 4s to save, failed 2.
D3 each. 6.
Oh,
So they're all dead.
they're all dead, yeah. Then both my units can fight back, so the Tree Revenants will go first. The Scion, first of all, 2 attacks on 4s, 1 and 3 to wound. It does.
So that's 2 damage. It's going to go through their armour, but we have a 6+ ward because we're near the objective. That's, yep. Oh, 1 left.
And the 2 remaining ones only hit twice and wound once with a -1.
Nope, they're all gone.
Then the Arch Revenant has piled into the Loon Boss because she's now free to do that, and she's just all out attack to herself, which with her special ability gives her +1 attack as well as +1 to hit. So 5 attacks with the glaive on 2s, 3s to wound. Oh, just 1.
1's 2.
Oh, right.
6+ armour. Nope. 6+ ward. Nope. Down to 5.
And then D3 +1 attacks with the pincers. 3. These hit on 3s now. So 2. And also wound on 3s. Just 1 again.
No rend, so 4+. Yes.
That's what the situation near Objective 2 looks like after all of that. The Destruction Forces will be gaining another 3 victory points, going up to 6, because they still hold both objectives. And the Tree Revenants have to take a battle shock test, which they fail on a 6. They're good again. So Zarbag generated a command point with heroic leadership, as did the Arch Revenant. She immediately spent hers to rally the Tree Revenants, who gained 1 back, and Zarbag's Gitz spent the command point for the whole army to rally and gain a squig back. Then we're on to spells from the Arch Revenant, who will try and cast Arcane Bolt, needing a 5, gets a 10.
Going to try and unbind. Nope.
So D3 mortal wounds to the Loon Boss, who's within 3, 2 wounds.
And he ignores 1. Down to 4.
Then the Tree Revenants have moved on to Objective 2 towards the shooters. The Arch Revenant will stay in melee with the Loon Boss. Whereas on the other side, the Spirit of Dirthu and the Vindictors both advancing on the forces holding Objective 1, and be straight to shooting, where the Spirit of Dirthu will shoot at Zarbag's Gitz again, I think. Then in the shooting phase, Zarbag is actually just within 15 inches of the Spirit of Dirthu, so you're going to lash some vines at him from all the way over here, because he doesn't get lookouts next to only 2 roll boys. So I have 6 attacks on 4s, getting 5.
Oh well, goodbye Zarbag.
3s to wound. 3.
So that's 6. He's dead.
Yeah, because of -1 rend and only a 6+ save. So on to the charge phase. I'll do the Spirit of Dirthu first. Rolls a 9, doesn't need to re-roll that. So the Spirit of Dirthu makes it in round there, and then the Vindictors will charge. They roll a 5, that will do. Vindictors will charge like this because Snurk Sauertung has a 3-inch weapon range and fights first, but he can't move out of base contact with the Spirit of Dirthu, and so won't be able to hit the Vindictors if they stay over here. Finally, down the bottom, the Tree Revenants will charge the shooters. And we need not a 3, yeah, we're in. The Spirit of Dirthu is going to do a monstrous rampage. It's going to stomp on the Slogoth. So it's on a 3+.
2+.
So it's on a 2+. It does do D3 mortal wounds. 1.
Snurk gets to go first. He'll have to attack the Spirit of Dirthu. D6 attacks, 6. On 4s, sorry, 3s, because of the Slogoth. So that's 4 hits. And 3s to wound. 3 wounds at -2.
5+ saves. Oh, we made 2.
1 damage.
So I'm going to pick the Vindictors to fight first. They've powered in, and they're going to put all their attacks on Zarbag's Gitz. They are going to be hitting on 4s though, because there is the net in the unit. So 62 mortal wounds. We've got 1 of those, and 6 normal hits that wound on 3s. 4. So a mortal wound and 4 wounds at -1. We'll go straight through.
Use a squeak. I'm going to do the Slogoth. It's going to attack the Spirit of Dirthu, so you can't just obliterate it. 4 attacks from the crew on 3s, getting 2, and 4s. Nope. And the claws on 2s, they'll hit on 3s. 3 wounds at -1.
4s to save. Made 2.
It's 2 damage.
But it does have a 6+ ward because it is contesting an objective and it's a Sylvaneth unit, and actually it should have had that on the attack from Snurk Sautung as well, so I'll just roll all 3 of those right now. Nope, don't save any, so it's down to 12.
While I remember, Zarbag's Gitz should have had some there as well.
Oh yes.
But they're all dead as well.
They all failed as well, okay. And actually, we remembered that the Tree Revenants should have also had a ward against some various shooting damage, but we rolled them off camera and they all failed as well, so we're all good. But it is my pick, and since I'm not all that scared of 2 Zarbag's Gitz, I'll do the Tree Revenants, who will give themselves a free all-out attack. This will counteract the net, so the Scion is back to hitting on 4s, which happens once, and 3 to wound. That's 1, which, yeah.
6+ save. Nope.
So 2 damage going through, but they do have the ward.
Nope, 2 dead.
And the normal members hit twice and wound once. Again, Mystic Shield, no. No war, so 3 dead.
So the 2 remaining Zarbag's Gitz will attack the Spirit of Earthy as well. So the Squid Brand on 2s, 2 hits, 3s, 2 at -1.
4s, 2 damage with a ward.
It's 4 damage.
Okay. 4 damage in total. Warded 1, so it takes 3, down to 9.
3 attacks from the net on 2s and 4s. 1 wound, no rend.
3, yes. Spirit of Earthy is safe, so I'll do the Arch Revenant, attacking the Loon Boss with the Glaive 4 times on 3s. Yes, they'll hit. And 3s again. Yes, they'll wound.
6s. Nope. 6s. Blob 2. It's got 2 wounds left.
D3 attacks with the pincers, 3. But on 4s, 2. And 3s to wound, 2. No rend.
4+, make both.
So he's alive on 2 wounds. The shooters got 2 wounds on the Tree Revenants, and they save on 5s. They failed the save, but they do get the 6+ ward for being on objective. Nope. We lose, well, the Wounded Banner and another one. I've just got the Spirit of Dirthy left, and I'll spend my command point for all-out attack to counteract the net, giving me penalty to hit. And I'll put all the attacks on the Slog-Off, because there's a decent chance that just one weapon won't do the job. So the Sword is hitting on 3s now, so there's a miss already, and wounding on 3s, nothing. And then the Massive Impaling Talons are 2 attacks on 2s, and they both miss. Wow.
Finally, I've just got the Loon Boss, 5 attacks on 3s, getting 3, and 2s, getting 3, -1.
5+ save, failed all of them.
3d3 damage. It's going to be 7 damage.
And she did pick the 4+ ward for this combat save, so she's going to make a few of them. Only made 2, taking 5 damage. I think that leaves her on 1 wound. And that brings us to Battle Shot, where I have to make one for the Tree Revenants, who've lost another member. Failing on a 6. Nope, they're fine.
Zarbag's Gitz, a bravery 5, and they've lost 3 members. So actually, I only lost 1 of Zarbag's Gitz, so we'll keep Progdonetta, because he's more useful than the other guy. And then we lost 3 shooters. Oof. So that's 8, so 4 more run away.
So I do still take objective 1, despite failing to do anything to the Slog-Off, because the Spirit of Earthy is 5 models. So that means I only hold 1, and it's not more than the opponent, so I only gain 1 victory point.
And also, actually, the Slog-Off will get a chance to snatch a Vindictor.
Oh, yeah.
So only 1 Vindictor in range, who is not snatched.
And then that's the end of the battle round, so we'll be rolling off for battle round 3. Oh, I've rolled a 5 this time.
No, I have not.
So we'll go on to order turn 3 then. I'm doing the finest hour on the Spirit of Dirthu, since it needs to perform this turn.
Going to do Heroic Willpower.
And then we'll try and cast Arcane Bolt with the Arch Revenant. We succeed with a 6.
Unbind with a 7. Yes, that's important.
The only movement I have is the Arch Revenant is going to fly away from the Loon Boss while remaining on the objective, because being on 1 wound is precarious. And in the shooting phase, the Spirit of Dirthu can shoot. We're going to split the attacks 4 on Snurk Sautung and 2 on Progdonetta with a Verdant Blast. The reason being that we're hitting on 5s because the net affects melee attacks as well, so on Snurk Sautung, hit 3 times.
Right, he's probably dead then.
And 2s to wound because of finest hour. Well, 2, but yeah, it has a rend,
Oh,
so
no.
he technically gets a ward, it's doing 4 damage.
Come on! Oh. Made 1. No, Snurk dies.
And on Progdonetta, and we did hit. And he's going to be splattered as well unless he makes a double 6.
Nope.
So on to fighting, I'm going to pick the Tree Revenants to go before they lose, and before another one gets dragged down by Grot, and I'll use the Arch Revenant to issue them with all that attack, spending a command point, giving them the extra attack.
Oh yeah, I'm going to give them all that defence as well.
So then doing the Scion, with the net, we're back to hitting on 4s, but we get 3 attacks this time. I missed all 3. And 6 attacks from the friends, they can hit, and they will be winning on 3s. They get 3 wounds. -1.
Yeah, so 5+ saves thanks to Mystic Shield and all that defence. Made 2.
Oh, so only 1 wound going through.
No, 1 dies. Do the Slogoth. I think I'm going to attack the Spirit of Dirty, because if I can take it down a bracket, that increases its chance of survival by an amount.
I might as well use command point for all that defence, because I can't use all that attack again this turn, so I don't really need any use for that anymore.
So 4 attacks on 3s from the crew, 2 hits, and 1 wound with a 2+.
Yes.
And claws on 2s, getting 3, 3s, getting 2, -1.
So with +2, we're up to 2s. Yeah, well, we're fine.
Yeah, fine.
So I will do the Spirit of Dirty then, with 3 attacks with the sword. Or 3s. Okay. And 2 attacks with the...
They hit.
Claws. They hit this time.
2s.
2s to wound because of Finest Hour. 1.
It's -2, so 6+. Yes!
Dear oh dear. And 2 wounds from the shooters on the 3 Revenants who have a 5+ save. They fail both again. They have a 6+ ward. We made 1, so we do still lose 1 because there's 1 on the wound. I've just got the Vindictors, 11 attacks on 3s on the Slogoth. We get 4 mortal wounds, but quite a few misses as well. In fact, yeah. In fact, we only got 1 hit, which didn't wound, so just 4 mortal wounds to the Slogoth.
And it's down to 7. So, and that's the end of fighting. So the Slogoth gets a chance to snatch. We'll try and snatch the Vindictor Prime. Yeah.
Then we have the Battle Shock test. So my turn. Spirit Tree Revenants still succeeding.
I'm going to auto pass mine.
And then I still only hold objective 1, so I gain 1 victory point. It's 6-2 in favour of destruction as we go into destruction turn 3. So the Loon Boss failed heroic recovery, the Arch Revenant succeeded but only got 1 wound left, so then we're straight to movement.
Yeah, the Loon Boss is moving towards the Arch Revenant near objective 2, and then the Slogoth is just going to fall back from the tree. It's pushing its luck to survive another turn in combat, and it didn't regenerate any wounds. Boys are going to shoot at the Arch Revenant. 3 shots on 2s, they all hit but no mortal wounds. 3s. 2 wounds at -1.
5s to save, made 1.
So that's 2 damage.
So it's 2 damage, so she will die, yeah.
Yeah.
Tree Revenants take 2 wounds from the Bowmen in melee. They're using their free all-out defence here, so these will be 4s to save. 1 wound goes through, 6+ ward. Nope.
Technically you have a 6+ ward in the Arch Revenant.
Oh yeah, the Arch Revenant actually had a 6+ ward. Forgot that. No, she did still die.
The charge phase, the Loon Boss will charge. He's in with a 4 into the Tree Revenants. Do him first. He'll issue all that attack to himself.
They will. So I'll spend my command point to give them normal all-out defence.
Yeah. So 5 attacks on 2s, getting 4, and 2s. So that's 4 wounds plus a mortal wound.
And then 5s to save.
So
3 fails.
3d3 damage. So that'll be 6 damage in total.
Yeah, and 3 wounds. We need to make a lot of 6+ wards. No, they're all dead. And that actually will decide the game right there, because that means that Destruction hold on to objective 2 and go up to 7 victory points this turn, which means that I would have to hold both objectives for the remaining 2 turns to gain to win, with Destruction gaining no more points. But I physically can't do that. There's no way I can get either of my 2 slow-moving units over to objective 2 and take it this turn. So it will be a Destruction victory on victory points. And we'll recap the game for you now. So that was our game for issue 45 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine. How did you think that went?
Pretty much as well as I hoped it would. General plan was to try and hold the 2 objectives for a little while, enough to build up a bit of a lead and then fall back to just 1, which basically is what happened. Me going first in the first few battle rounds gave me a huge lead. I did get a bit unlucky with the Fanatics not doing much, but then got very lucky with the Spirit of Dirty not just deleting the Slogoth, which it probably should have. Yeah, other than that, it all went fairly to plan.
Yeah, obviously you going first was a big help, because it meant that you just got points before I could even do anything. Fortunately, your early damage wasn't too bad, at least, so I still have models left. But yeah, I basically had to get on to at least 1 objective as soon as possible, and because of the slowness of my army and the fact that there were a lot of grots on one of them, And I had to go for both objectives as well because I suppose I could have just put all my army on one side and gone for one objective, but you still would have had a lead. I would have just had to push across the board and get to the other objective before the end of the game and hope to score some points on that one as well. But whether that would have worked or not, I don't know. I think my plan of splitting up wasn't too bad. It just was hampered by not going first. Also, perhaps I should have run the Spirit of Durthu and auto-run 6 the Vindictors onto objective 1 straight away in the first battle round so that you at least wouldn't have held that one. And you wouldn't have got another 3.
Yeah, I think I still could have released Snurk Sauertongue and kept hold of it.
But overall, a much bigger problem was the Spirit of Durthu just not doing anything. He killed Zarbag at range. I mean, it might have still taken him 2 turns to kill the Sloggoth, and so he still wouldn't have been able to influence the rest of the game all that much, but just not killing it was a bit of a problem. But maybe my bigger problem was actually that the forces I had on the other flank weren't actually up to the task of killing a large number of grots. They should have been, but even with the Fanatics not doing anything, they just couldn't kill them. That was probably partly because the Vigilors just got shot and then chopped to bits without doing anything really at all. So, yeah, maybe I just didn't have enough on that flank, but it's...
Yeah, I mean, if my Fanatics had had some decent rolls, they really should have minced the Tree Remnants at the very least. The Loon Boss killing 3 Vigilors did make up for that a bit. But yeah, I think a lot of it just comes down to me going first and getting that big points lead. Once I got 6, I could effectively abandon one of the objectives and then just hold the other one for 2 turns, and then that would be at least a draw.
But I suppose the Fanatics in general, in theory, yes, they have a huge damage output. They were just very unlucky in this
High
game.
damage potential.
Yeah.
As is often the case, they tend to whiff.
But because of that, they are very terrifying because they're hidden on the start of the game, so you can't shoot at them or anything. You only shoot at them when they appear.
Even if the unit is destroyed, they still pop out and could potentially pop out in melee with you as well.
They are very vulnerable to things like Unleash Hell, but if you're able to tie up shooting units and things like that, you can stop that happening. And then just because they have Strike First, and you can move the grots closer to the unit and then deploy them, and that makes them... and you have a much shorter charge that way as well.
Yeah, and it makes the grots actually... I would actually consider having them in the front line because basically they're the only unit the Fanatics can go in throughout the collection. And I seem to usually get them both at the same time from now on. So where before the Grots would be a fairly weak unit, now there's a serious risk of charging them because if you come close, I can just release the Fanatics and go, well, okay, then you can charge. And
even if you charge the Fanatics instead, they got Strike First, so it's still not
and
safe.
They have a 2d6-inch move, so they even have if they manage to survive a turn, there's got some possible threat range from that.
And it's one of those things where you can start to see how the Gloomspite Gitz army works rather than just being a horde of very poor quality troops. They actually have lots of nasty things like Fanatics and then some of the Boingrot Bounders and things, for example, that we'll see coming up. They're a sort of less conventional army in many ways compared to some of the other ones we've got.
And they're cool models, certainly again more characterful, very amusing to look at, and you get the extra one that's being a bit ill, that I guess you just use as an objective marker or something.
Yeah, it's more of the sort of dark humour of Warhammer.
Yeah, don't do mushrooms, kids.
Anyway, I think that's it for this episode and this game, so let us know what you thought in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe. We'll be continuing with these episodes of Stormbringer, even into the new edition of Age of Sigmar. Continue using these rules in the magazine, because as they're printed. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.